Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Light back into another YouTube video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing Absolute Carnage review here on the channel. So, yeah, I just finished reading Absolute Carnage and I gotta say it's pretty good. I do enjoy it a lot. It actually brought me to, actually made me like symbiotes and stuff a little bit more. As well as like the whole King in Black event. If you want to see me review that, definitely leave a comment or I'll judge on based on the views and stuff like that. But just for now, we're gonna be kind of sticking with the Absolute Carnage run here, just solely on the graphic novel slash the 5 page issue. Sorry, not 5 page, 5 issue Absolute Carnage series. So yeah, we're not gonna really focus on any of the tie-ins or anything like that, like Absolute Carnage, Miles Morales, or any of that kind of stuff. It's just gonna be strictly this one, just cause it makes it a lot more simpler to basically review and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, without ado, let's get into it. So yeah, Absolute Carnage came out back in 2019, I believe, and it's by Gates, Stegman, Mayer, and Martin. So yeah, Donnie Gates actually was the one who written this book, which is actually pretty interesting. And again, it came out in about 5 issues. So yeah, plus a bunch of like tie-in stuff. But I mean, if you want to see me again speak about that, I wouldn't mind doing it. But there is like a few other tie-ins and stuff like that. It does speak about some of the tie-ins and everything. But yeah, from what you need to know, first of all, I want to just say this quickly. From what before I forget, what you need to going into this comic book if you're like a person who just started reading it, just know basically they kind of explain at the start, but basically Carnage has gotten godlike powers from the symbiote creator called Null, who was like the symbiote god. And basically he's gotten like godlike powers and he's able to like control a whole bunch of people and stuff like that. And basically anyone who's worn symbiote has something called a codex, and in order to that, it gives them grants them like large powers and stuff like that. Uh, basically, in this story, basically Carnage is going for all the codexes as well as like a whole bunch. He has like a whole like I wouldn't say army, but like a loads of symbiotes, like Carnage symbiotes behind him. So yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. And the story kind of falls around Eddie Brock and a bit of Spider-Man. So, and a bit of a few other Avengers, but other than that, that's basically it. What you need to know. But anyways, also actually I forgot to say this. It does explain this in the comic book again. But Eddie Brock is basically on the run from Venom, and he has like a son who he has from like a previous series. Uh, so yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. So quickly, I'll go through a recap. Basically, again, Eddie Brock is basically trying to fight Carnage from finding all the codexes and basically causing carnage and basically essentially destroying the world. And Null would be able to come to Earth and basically just start like I wouldn't say a war, for example, but I would say like a huge battle with resulting in probably Null taking over the whole Earth basically. So that's what happens. This story dives in a little bit into like the history of the symbiotes in a sense. It dives in a little bit more in King and Black. Uh, so definitely, if you want to like see a follow up and stuff, definitely I recommend reading that. But it does go into a little bit of history at the start of the comic into like Null's character and everything. So for that, I definitely think it's very interesting and sensing that. I think the art is very well done in this comic. I do really like the art. I like the art of all the symbiotes. I think they look pretty cool. Carnage especially is awesome. The characters look pretty cool. It looks like like if like a symbiote, what like a symbiote would look like and what would it do to a person and everything. And it's very realistic in a sense. I mean, it's not super realistic. Like the people don't look like they're like real life or anything like that. But I mean, it does look a little bit realistic, so I definitely think that's pretty interesting. Uh, Story wise, I do like it. I like how we're getting like seeing all these things, like all these characters that have gotten the symbiote in the past, for example, the Venom symbiote and everything. which is like a huge tie. And I did like the whole what's it called, Spider-Man adding into it. Like it definitely had a bit of wholesomeness in a sense, because again, like Eddie Brock is trying to help his son survive, and in the sense, since seeing as though he's his son, he technically has a codex, because Eddie would have passed his codex on to, of course, his son. So of course his son's gonna be getting attacked and everything, and like Eddie's just like trying to help and everything and all this, and it makes for a really cool story. I also like the whole and this doesn't stay for like this comic, but I do like the whole Venom stuff. I think Venom and Eddie is interesting. Like it's funny seeing like you could see where Venom is talking to Eddie, and like they put it in a black box, and basically I found it was really funny. I know this kind of isn't too funny, but I found it just like a little laugh is when um when Spider-Man is like, "This is kind of my fault because I'm the one who brung that first symbiote back in all that time ago with Venom when he originally got the symbiote on him." So I found that a little funny, and then Venom's like, "You should tell him that we've been on this earth for millions of years," and Eddie just like, "Yeah, we're gonna need his help." So they just let him keep the blame, I guess. So that was just a little bit interesting there, and a little bit funny moments. Uh, I definitely thought it really showcased Venom slash Eddie Brock as more of like an anti-hero. You could see that villainous side to him, but at the same time, you could see he's like shoving it down to be more of like a superhero in a sense, not just an anti-hero, like more of like an actual superhero, which I thought was interesting. The tie-in of other Avengers and stuff was also really interesting. They tied in, I believe, Captain America, Wolverine, Hulk, and there's somebody else I'm forgetting. But yeah, they tied in a few heroes into it. So I thought that was interesting, much needed relief a little bit, because at the same time you just wonder to yourself like where are all these other Avengers and everything, and also some of the tie-ins and stuff, like they of course fight Carnage and everything. So there is a tie-in to that. If you want to read that a little bit of like what happened. So yeah, I'm trying to like currently really like focus on this run here, not too much on the other ones. But yeah. Uh, Again, like I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be like a reference to like Marvel's next biggest event at the time, which was supposed to be King in Black. I believe that was like a big event back in like 2020, where where it was like one of the bigger Marvel crossover events. So this story was mainly like a grip to seeing that, because quick spoiler warning, in the end Carnage ends up getting the last codex basically, and he is able, and then Null is ending up coming to Earth, and that's where we get sent, and then it leads into the King in Black event. So that's pretty interesting to see happen. That's pretty interesting to see happen there, as it leads on to the next event. I think I'm gonna definitely start reading a bunch of the King in Black stuff, as I haven't really read it yet, but I do plan to read it. Uh, but I mean, I actually did really enjoy this. In all honesty, just in my quick opinion, I don't know why they call it Absolute Carnage. It, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, I understand that it's Absolute Carnage is like a certain character, like the Amazing Spider-Man, for example. Uh, but at the same time, this comic really focuses a lot on Venom slash Eddie Brock and like a bunch of other characters. It doesn't focus too much on Absolute Carnage. So at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of weird. And I understand they're kind of naming it just so it gets into like the certain titles, because I know there's like a bunch of other titles like this. For example, there's like Absolute Carnage, Captain Marvel, for example. And I understand why they do that, but at the same time, maybe it would have been a little bit better to maybe say like Absolute Carnage, like Venom versus Venom or something. Because I do know that they did another series which was like Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool, and that was another good series. Let me know if you want to if you want me to cover that. But other than that, like I thought the naming was a little bit off a little bit, but I mean it's still interesting. It still gets the point across. But personally, this is just me personally. When I was reading this comic, I was kind of expecting maybe to see a little bit more Carnage, because in this he's a little bit minimal. But I mean, yeah, it was all right though. But other than that, I mean, this comic is really good. Action, very good. Storytelling wise, pretty interesting. I'm actually pretty excited because I'm definitely gonna go read the King in Black series, because that's definitely another one on my reading list here, and I'm gonna definitely read some of the tie-ins as well. That's what I'm thinking of doing. But anyways, I'm pretty excited to see where this goes down. I'll definitely probably do a video again on King in Black. But I mean, Absolute Carnage is definitely a very interesting comic. I do like it a lot. Uh, Interesting comic. Probably personally to me, it's probably in my top 20 of comics. Or probably like top 10 for Marvel, honestly. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.